welcome back to another episode of the Chophouse. Now, this episode was filmed live at the Barbican when Mikey and I were guests on Your Aunties Could Never live. As always, hit the subscribe button and tell a friend to tell a friend.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our first guest to the stage. And our first guests are very familiar to me. One of them is my husband.
Woo! She's got a husband.
I do have a husband.
Black women do
get married, you get me?
We have been together
Black
for
love
22
exists.
years. Thank you. I think that deserves a big round of applause.
Yeah.
A little bit louder. 22 years, guys. From the year 2000.
Side note, she doesn't always remember how long they've been married. But
Yeah,
No.
it's true.
And
She
she doesn't
doesn't
send nudes.
she only
I
sends
do
nude
send
tights.
nudes. I send
won't
nudes,
send-
tights,
She won't send her husband
nude
nudes.
bras.
Don't you think though, after 22 years, her husband
Deserves
a little
nudes.
piece of nude?
Let's have a
Like
show of hands.
like a
Who
little
thinks
nude.
her husband deserves nudes? Show of hands. Show of hands.
Yeah.
Show of hands. That's the point. Clearly.
Yeah.
Who thinks
He
she
wants
should
to
not be
send
sending nudes in 22 years of marriage?
Thank you. I like this guy.
Wow. Okay, but the point was made. Is he sending nudes back, no, fam?
He been sending
He would.
nudes.
I believe that he would.
I haven't
When he
actually-
comes on the stage, that's the first question we're going to ask
we'll
you.
ask him that.
Okay,
We'll ask him
let's
that.
go. Let's go.
Okay, so the podcast is called Chophouse Podcast. I am the producer of that podcast as well. It's a podcast that's needed because there aren't enough male podcasts out there.
There really
Men
are.
are so starved of stuff
Men's
to talk
voices
about.
are so unheard.
Yes. Nobody listens to them, so
At all.
there's another male podcast out there. So introducing Neodate Evans and Mikey J. Asante to the stage.
Hey, Wiley, man, I'm still surprised.
Listen to the track, though.
Wherever you want to
Wherever
go.
you want to go. You don't come out with a controversial track, you know.
I know, isn't it?
This is comfortable.
It's nice,
I'm
isn't
in the
it?
middle.
Nice.
You know?
Welcome.
Nice.
Comfy. Okay, so I want you guys to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about Chophouse Pod.
Okay, so my name is Neodate Evans, one half of the Chophouse Pod. Why did we start? So I spend like an insane amount of time on the internet. Like it's unhealthy, if I'm being honest. And so I needed to find a way to validate the time that I was spending on the internet. And so I created a whole podcast just so that I could feel better about the time that I was spending on the internet. Because what would be happening of an evening, we'll be sitting there and poor Nana is like, I'd be like, yo, have you seen this? And I just put it in her face like that. And then she's like humoring me. So I called up Mikey called me up in you want to tell that part, Mike?
So yeah,
Tell me who you are first.
I'm known as Mikey J. Asante, one half of what is the Chophouse Pod. I'm a music producer. I got a dance company called Boy Blue. We actually perform here often.
So it's just here at the Barbican.
Louder,
Yeah.
louder,
And
louder.
talking about marriage, that's been running for 21 years,
Yes.
which has been crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's loads of other things, but we're not here for that. Nonetheless, I called him and I was like, bro, you know Abbott and Preach? They do like a good thing. It's pretty cool, you know, like the guy has videos and they talk about the videos. I think we could do that. We could really do that. And he was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, so you're thinking about ideas? I said, no. I'm thinking that you get the videos, you put them together, then I turn up and then we talk about it.
Basically, he didn't want to do any work.
I didn't want to do any work. I got too much stuff on my plate. And then, look, we helped your problem. So it worked. Your problem of the
Yeah,
internet.
but yeah, my problem with the internet.
Yeah,
So,
I supported your.
Now I feel validated. We've got the Chophouse Pod, and that's basically what we do. So Mikey comes around, we got food, we got drink.
But you know, I'm being disingenuous slightly. Me, Nans, and Russ, we sit down often and we just have these kind of conversations. And it just felt like, you know what? Because what's always nice is that there is valid opinions, but then also at the same time, different ways that everyone looks at stuff. And also a connectivity, which is like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. I didn't see it like that. So we said, you know what? Let's try and record it. So I rocked up one day and they said, we got the Chophouse Pod and you are a podcaster now. So I got a job. I finally got a job. I turned up. I do my thing and I go home.
He bounces.
That's it. So I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is great conversation. So it's nice to be able to record them and talk with my fam.
I love this. So for your show that we're going to show everybody else here, we're going to be your guests.
Okay.
So it's going to be your standard format.
Mm-hmm.
I have one caveat though. I have slightly forgotten to send the aunties the videos. So I'm going to do that.
Wow.
So you're joining me.
Yeah.
So
you're
really,
joining Mikey and not knowing.
So we don't know what's going on right now.
I kind of do.
Right.
so
Is this
total
on
transparency,
purpose?
right?
Yeah.
Russell didn't figure out how we're going to watch the videos, so we had planned to watch it on his phone whilst the audience watched.
So the audience will
But I
watch
think
it,
we're going to have to go and watch it from that angle.
Well, you guys can watch it there. You
and
got
then
your
I
phone.
can
you
have it here.
Okay,
Are the
cool.
audience going to see it on the screen?
Yeah,
They will
yeah,
see
they'll
it.
see it on
Yeah,
the screen.
okay,
We're good.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So,
Cool. So
can you
you
give us a
gotta
little breakdown of how your show
synchronize
runs?
it, or
Okay, so basically, as I said, Chophouse Pod is basically me and Mikey. I will go on the internet, find things that have either amused me, irritated me, frustrated me, and I bring it to the Chophouse table and I play them to Mikey, and then we discuss it. Sometimes some videos can be just really stupid, just really silly stuff. Sometimes they can be a little bit more serious. And then sometimes they can be really silly, but we end up having a serious conversation from it. So it's just like the table is open for any type of discussion.
And sometimes there's a theme. Like the theme might be on misogynistic situations. Or he had a wicked one which was so challenging. What was it? Toxic Olympics.
We had the Toxic Olympics.
So it's on the YouTube. You can check it out. And it was Toxic Olympic men, Toxic Olympics women.
Yep.
And
So
whoa.
that doesn't even make sense. Toxic women.
Oh, okay.
And there you have the problem.
Oh, wow.
You've let the sparks fly. Bruv,
Let's
remember,
go.
I'm sitting over
The
here.
gloves
You're
are
not.
off. The gloves are off.
In it. Oh, my gosh. All right. So really, the truth is, I don't know what's on there just as
Okay.
much as you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All
that's
right,
it. So
okay.
that is how it works. The only person that knows what's coming up is I know what's coming up.
Okay.
And Mikey sees it for the first time.
Okay.
As
And then
will
we
you guys.
discuss.
So we're all Mikey, Jay.
You're all
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
You are my
Hi.
thoughts.
Hi, Mikey.
Cool.
Yeah,
go.
you ready?
Yeah? So we ready to go? All right. So let's see if we can time this.
Tech, if you can show.
You ready?
Ready and play.
Tried to log in Instagram a couple hours ago, it wouldn't let me. I have good people in the case. I trust due process with Instagram. I'm actually quite understanding of their position. I do understand it very, very well. I'm not angry at them in any regard. It's not a big loss for me. It's not something I use too often. But I do understand their position because we're actually living in a world now where it's kind of strange. This is an unprecedented period of human history. And we have internet sensationalism, global sensationalism on a scale which has never happened before. And also we have the ability to edit things so quickly, right? So you can say something on a stream and they can remove all context, or you can say something and they can change the tone of your voice, or you can
I've
say
seen
something.
it's already happened to me many times, yes.
Exactly. And then what they can do is they can throw that in front of a hate mob, and then internet sensationalism can take control, and people can start to believe in narratives which are false, and then people have to take some kind of action against that. So I understand all these things. I understand that with great power and great influence comes great responsibility. And I'm very understanding of the situation. I think that I'm a strongly religious man. I believe that God will prevail, the truth will prevail.
Right.
The one thing that's a little bit annoying, I mean, because a lot of people have been insulting me for a long time on all platforms. And that's fine. It really doesn't bother me because I'm an extremely strong person. I know that some people would be very, very uncomfortable in my position. Not many people can sleep at night with the kind of death threats I've been getting. But for me, it's been fine, right?
You're getting death threats?
Oh, yeah. And this is the thing that's crazy, right? So I would get 10 to 20,000 death threats a day
What?
via Instagram.
Via
And they would take no action, even if I reported them. However, they've now decided I'm the danger. And even the people who were supporting me, I was crazy, yeah. I was saying, look, if you're going to support me in public, if you're going to discuss things in comments, please do it respectfully, because hate on hate, it ain't going to get
I have a question.
right?
The guys saying in the DMs that are going to kill you. Be honest. If they saw you in person, you think they'd keep that same energy?
Of course not.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was Andrew Tate. If you're not familiar with Andrew Tate, he's been a kind of big personality on the internet, a part of the so-called Red Pill community. And most recently, he was banned from a lot of the platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. for what they were saying were hate crimes and misogyny. I think his voice is really annoying. That's number one. I've got to get that out of the way. However, I feel like he had some valid points in what he was saying.
That's what was a bit troubling.
Yeah. But here's the thing. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Fair play.
And I think what he was saying in terms of the platforms aren't taking responsibility for the algorithms, in my opinion. Okay, so Andrew Tate and people like him go online, they say all of this stuff about women and bitches and this, that, and the other and what not have you. Yeah. But then the algorithm pumps that in your timeline. Everybody's seeing it in your timeline. But then you're penalizing the guy for saying the things, but you're there pushing it out. And to me, I'm like, that's where you give the guy a valid point. And also, I just don't think we should be censoring people like that.
Ooh, so what do you want us to say right now?
You have to say your opinion.
You chime in.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think misogyny isn't taken seriously. I'm glad that these platforms finally done the right thing and shut him down. Yeah. I think it should have happened sooner, to be honest. And I just think that it's just not really taken seriously. That's why the content like this is able to spread. And I'm not like everyone. I don't agree in anti-censorship. I'm not like everyone shouldn't have censorship. I think there are some dangerous, harmful people out there. I think he's one of them. And yeah, he crossed the line. He crossed the line too many times. Do you know what I mean? And I think I agree. Yeah, he should have been shut down sooner, to be honest.
Why is he blaming the algorithm for what he said? Where's the responsibility? Can I understand that? Because the algorithm works by what you click on. That's how the algorithm follows you. That's if you don't turn off your cookies, if you don't click yes, no, reject, decline, then you're going to get all the following and all the robots and everything saying this is what you like, this is what you like. If you don't do that, why are you blaming the system? But don't say those things.
I think what the problem was that he was saying, like in what I saw, was that he was saying, when people do badness to me, I flag it up and say I'm getting death threats and all of that. But the algorithm doesn't take into consideration the notion of what he does, how he does it. But then at the same time, he has to take a responsibility of what he says, and he has to take a responsibility of making sure what he says is right. Yes. And then the other companies aren't looking after him when he's speaking his voice.
He does.
He's speaking his truth.
He needs to monitor what karma's a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I think is interesting, is that it's turned inwards on itself. The whole thing is turning in on itself.
And also
that's what I found challenging.
Can I just say as well, I hate the fact that when these, I'm going to call them crazy people, because I do think he's actually crazy, you know, these things happen to them, they get banned. They're always held up as like some example that, oh, you know, he's got points. Other people have points. Why is his example the point? No, he's a bad man. He's been saying bad stuff about women, oppressing them. That's what he's doing.
We shouldn't drive. That's what man said.
No.
Women shouldn't drive, guys.
They shouldn't drive. They deserve to be raped. There's videos of him beating women. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have points. He's a horrible man. He's a different example.
See, I agree with you, but I feel like there's a different thing at play here, where he's playing a game where all he's after, and he's won because we're talking about him now. Yep. All he's after is the attention. So he doesn't care how he gets that attention.
And the algorithm doesn't care. And that promotes the platform that they're on.
And I think there's another thing, because we talk about the algorithm, but I think also us as human beings also have to take some responsibility, because I think sometimes as humans, we kind of lean towards the drama as opposed to leaning towards, you know, happy, clappy, this is really joyous stuff. Like, we like drama, we like beat. So we click on Shade Room. That's why the Shade Room's so popular. And so we also have to look inwards.
Negativity.
Yeah, we have to look inwards and be like, why are we drawn to this negativity? Like, why when he releases a video, are we going to watch it and share it and talk about it?
Ooh. I was going to ask quite a challenging question, but I don't know.
We want the audience involved. Shout, shout involved.
Yeah, please do. So I do not, let me just say this now. I don't believe this. But I'm asking it just as open. And I'll do this with Russ. I'll probe him sometimes. I'll be like, Russ, what do you think of it? Is there people out there that he is serving?
Absolutely.
And is that is that the thing that should matter in terms of groups? And even though we know it as hate, even though we know it as problematic.
What? Are you
That's just what I'm saying.
misogyny?
No, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying it as a question just to the group that there are people that he serves. And what does that mean? Because then we shut down all of the people that he serves, or should we be turning him to change those people? What is the answer?
In our society, it's a crime. So you've got to shut it down.
So how do we talk to those men as well? Because now the reason why I mention that is because now those men are thinking that is our martyr.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I asked that question.
On it. That's exactly my position on it. I'm like, actually, when you shut down somebody who has a tribe of people and there's millions of them who follow him, you give them martyrdom status. And then there's no counter. That's why I asked the question. Because he can go to his own website, and he's done that. He's done his last statement. It was literally like, I am the most famous man in the world at this moment. He did all of that shit.
Sounds
and that's
like a
because
psychopath.
he's been revered from being banned.
Yes.
And banning him isn't the thing. It's like, it is about the algorithm. It's like, why were we being fed and pumped his clips constantly? Because he isn't on any of those platforms properly. It's people taking his videos
and repurposing them
and sharing it. So really, it's on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok
because people
were constantly pumping that.
Okay. Let me ask the audience.
Let's take it to the audience.
Let's all the audience. Show of hands again. Who thinks Andrew Tate should be banned? Clearly, put your hand clear. Be proud.
Yeah. It was funny when you spoke about the nudes. Someone's hand was like this because they didn't want to.
So who thinks he shouldn't be banned and freedom of speech runs? Hey.
Wow. You see, it's interesting, right?
Okay.
It's interesting.
Can we get someone who's for his banning and someone who's not, who's against his banning, to give a quick summation as to why you think he should be banned?
Anyone want to do that?
Take my mic. Be proud. Say it with your chest.
Got a guy at the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
State your name as well so that we know who you are.
State who you are, your address.
State your name, cuz.
Depends what you say. You can be anonymous. You don't have to say your name.
No, you do. My name is Richard. Nice to meet everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Richard.
Simply put, some of the stuff you were spouting, I wouldn't be happy for my nephews to hear that and go and repeat it outside my house. And we've all grown up with like fathers that would clip your ear if you spouted some of this nonsense while he was talking in the house.
Could you speak up just a little bit, please?
I wouldn't want my nephews listening to his content and saying that outside the house when I'm not there. So if it's not good enough for my nephews, it shouldn't be good enough for anyone else. That's it. Like, we were raised better. We know that.
Yeah. Thank you. And for someone who thinks that Andrew Tate should not be banned because freedom of speech, if you want to, put your hand up clear.
Oh, yes, someone over there?
Are you looking?
No. He's got a mic. Go for it.
Sorry.
I'd say the only reason he shouldn't be banned, only reason he shouldn't be banned is because then you remove the ability for people to criticize him directly on his own page. But you can obviously criticize him elsewhere as well. But even if you ban him, he's still got his own platform. He's still got a way to communicate with people. I don't know. It's a really tricky one, but
yeah, that's where I'm at. And I think I said that before. For me personally, when you ban these people, they just go underground or they go on their own platforms. You can't manage what they're doing. The responsibility does lie with the people that run these platforms.
Yes.
If everyone remembers when it was COVID, you couldn't put a negative thing out there about COVID without something coming up. Oh, sensitive content. Oh, maybe maybe incorrect information. You couldn't do that. But these people are able to say what they want to say on these platforms with minimal intrusion, minimal, restrictions against them. I think what needs to happen is these platforms need to look at how they're managing that type of content.
Definitely.
More. It is about the algorithm, but it's also about how they manage these things.
Yeah.
But then
banning him is not going to help.
Where's his responsibility?
I'm not saying that he shouldn't be accountable. He should, but man like him's never going to be accountable because he said what he said, and he said it with his full chest. He'll say it again and again and again, and that's what these people are like. Banning them,
there is a tribe.
Is not going to stop him.
There's a tribe of men.
There's always going to be. But
and women.
Yeah, and women as well. That's why
there's a lot of women that support what he says.
Yeah, there is.
Are there women in here that support Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels? Show yourself.
Oh wow, Kevin Samuels.
They're really going to show themselves now.
Show yourself now.
Kevin Samuels just got heat for no reason. Like,
why
we don't even
Kevin
talking about Kevin
I'm
Samuels.
just bringing him in.
Did you say for no reason?
Oh no! In this context,
No, stand your ground, stand your ground, man.
Chill,
Don't
man,
let us
chill.
talk to you like that.
Bruv, there are 4 of them. I am one,
Hey, don't be
and there's a
scared.
balcony. Bruv, you don't care about my life. I've realized he says stuff on the pod. I'm like, bro, there is too much being said there that people and if my head goes like this, you agreed.
Yeah.
Have you realized 2022 is cancelling season?
Listen,
this is not that
it's
time.
a safe space. We should be able to say what we feel.
Say what you're saying.
It's
So
not
you're
that
saying
safe.
Kevin Samuels is your God.
Huh?
What? Wait.
Did you not
How
hear
did that happen?
Hey!
Man
How did
said
that?
That's what
Kevin
we heard.
Samuels is your idol.
That's what we heard.
Okay, guys, it's been wonderful.
Thank you so very much. There's drink. Where's the drink? The drinks are over there. Mine is whatever's strongest. Thank you. Wow.
All right, next. Do you
have
have
another
another
one?
story for us?
Okay, all right.
Do you have
So
another story for us?
we got another one. Yeah, play.
To be fair, it's hard for them to apologize.
An African parent say sorry.
They
I got rated for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Listen, that's
Because-
hard, you know.
Oh, have I heard that?
What?
My dad-
Sorry.
Let me tell you a story. Yeah? So my dad used to give me and my siblings £10 a week or something.
Yeah. Pocket
But he
money.
leaves it on the table.
Yeah.
In the morning. I got removed of that because I was misbehaving. So it's only my sister. So when I wake up, I only see
One
£20.
time.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not
right.
£30 anymore. So I knew I was removed from it.
Yeah.
One day, money on his own table goes missing. Naturally blames me. Comes to me, he's like, "Where's the money that's on the table?" I was like, "I didn't take the money." He's like, "You have 30 minutes to deliver the money." Brother, I'm so scared. I start searching my own money. My dad gives mad ultimatum. After 30 minutes, so you're out of the house. He burst into my room. Says, "Get out." He starts flipping everything, flipping the bed,
Like the
my cupboard,
police.
flipping everything. He takes my Xbox. This is 360 times.
Yeah.
He opens it, and cracks it.
What? He opened the tray?
Opening the tray, take out the disc, cracks it. Opens Halo, crack. Opens Killzone, crack. He's just cracking this.
Gears of War.
You gotta think about it.
Oh
This is when
my
Blockbuster
God.
was still open, bro. So, this is
Not even mine.
I've rented some of these games. I've borrowed some of these games from my boys. So, they're not gonna believe me. Every crack is like, hey, they're not gonna believe me, brother.
It's not mine, man.
Brother.
Wait, I don't own it. It's not mine.
He's cracking it. He's cracking it. Throws my TV on the floor. He's like, "Where's the £30?" My stepmom, is busting up at how outrageous he's being.
Yeah.
So she even's like, she goes to my little sister. "You took the money, didn't you?" She's like, "No, I didn't take the money. When my sister lies, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Like, this guy took the money. My mum just goes to her pot. My sister has a saving pot.
Yeah.
She knows when the thing started, so she knows how much should be in
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was £30 extra.
Right.
So she takes out. She's like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "Oh, I thought that it was the money that he was gonna give. I didn't know." Blah, blah, blah." She started shouting. I'm just thinking, this guy cracked my. It's just fucking my whole life, man. Stepmom goes like, "Oh, Moutchi, like, apologise. Come on, he's like, no, never." And I watched it, and I was like, damn. And that stuff is learned, because kids don't do what you say; they do what you do.
Yeah.
So I remember the time in my life when it was hard for me to apologise.
Of course.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to paraphrase that because obviously the sound was a bit patchy. So that was from the 90s Baby podcast. That was the actor Tom Moutchi, and he was talking about a time when his dad thought that he had stole £30. And so he just decided that it was him that stole it. So he came into his room, burst the room open, went to his Xbox 360, opened it up, took the CD out, snapped the CD, and just flipped out and started breaking CDs. Obviously, he's upset because a lot of them CDs don't belong to him. Some of them are from Blockbuster, some of them are from his friends. Okay? That's how far we're going back. Now, the stepmom in the situation is clocking the situation and is like, I actually think the sister has taken the money. So she goes to the sister and she says, have you taken the money? His sister starts denying it, but they can all see that she's lying. So the mum goes and counts her money and sees that she's £30 up. And so she presents the sister as like, no, she's taken the money. So obviously this time the dad has done pure carnage in his room, yeah? And so the stepmom says to the dad, "Are you not going to apologize?" And he said no. He said no, flat out. And it just, when I watched it the first time, it just struck me. I was just like, how many of us have got a story of, I'll say African parent because I'm talking from my to preach at the back. How many of us have got a story from an African parent where they just refuse to apologize?
I mean, I refuse to apologize to my daughter all the time.
Oh, serious?
Wow. See, that's where I was coming to, because also for those of us as parents.
Right. What it is, basically, let me explain. So what will happen is, say like something goes missing in the house, or I'm looking for something and I can't find it, and I'm like, where is that thing? You had that thing. Da-da-da-da. And then like I might find the thing. I'll be like, well, that's because you don't tidy up. Like, it's hard. It's hard. I do apologize, but sometimes it's hard.
You know, it's the levels of how much you've gone off on them. Because then it's like, oh, mate.
But then you do the black thing, innit? You're like, would you like some food?
That's the thing. You want to hug, but I love you though, innit? This is just making you. I'm like, this is a love slap. It's learning. It's lessons.
A love slap.
Yeah, man. It's a virtual love slap. I've berated you. Once you can take it from your mum, go outside in the streets. No one can touch you.
Wow.
That's it.
This is character building for life. Then, is what you're saying.
Training and development.
So
guys.
okay, so I've got a question then. Is there a level of trauma that sits with that though?
Oh, Mikey.
The notion. Well, come on. We're here to pod.
It's a valid question.
We're here to pod.
We joke about it, but it's a valid question.
Yeah, is there a level of trauma? Because I know that there could be a circumstance where that does carry on. The notion of, fam, you're being too, you want to stay right in your wrong.
Yes.
You get me? You want to stay right in your wrong.
Because you can be...
I think that's right. Yeah, I do think that's right. I can't think of one time that any of my parents have ever, actually anyone elder has ever apologized.
Wow.
Yeah, so aunties.
Let me ask you a question
parents.
quickly. How are you at apologizing?
I will only apologize.
There you go.
Do you want food?
No,
It was the only-
I will actually apologize and say, if I say I'm sorry to you, then I absolutely mean it, but only if I'm wrong. If I'm not wrong, I'm not apologizing.
So-
100%.
and
also as well, we have to take a lot of things into context as well.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So age is one of them. So if you're my niece and nephew and you're younger, the dynamic might not allow for that.
Oh, wow.
Right.
100%.
So this is the question. Has that been passed down? Or is this something that you hold as an opinion of your own?
I think that it's been passed down. I've adapted because I can actually physically apologize. So I've adapted to my environment, you know, but yeah, it's a big thing for me. And also as well, receiving an apology. If I don't receive an apology, if you've wronged me, I could cut you off.
So
for
isn't
life.
that an interesting dichotomy
100%.
there, right?
Yeah.
Because it's something you wish to receive, but to give is a bit...
But I hold it in high regard. Do you know what I mean? So if I do it for you, then do you know what I mean? Like it's work. It's like I'm going against my nature.
People are
to
privileged.
Do you know what I mean?
To get an apology.
Yes.
Yeah.
I struggle with people I do struggle when people find it hard to apologize to. Because I will say sorry. I will say sorry to my daughter. I'm gassed. I will say sorry to her if I've done something wrong, especially if I've gone off. And it was like, oh, damn. But I do struggle when people find it. It's that thing like what you were saying about who's in the wrong? Who believes that they were wrong?
Right. That's
Like,
the other question.
Where is the line? Like, you were wrong to me, but that person thinks they weren't wrong.
And it's a lens.
Yeah.
Someone has a
It's
lens.
like,
They have a
well,
perception
bro,
of how
you
treat
were wrong
them.
to me. Say sorry, innit? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, this one's hard because I feel like, because I never received a sorry, and there was plenty of times where I think my mum should have said sorry.
Yeah.
If I know I'm wrong, I will say sorry to the boys, and I'll explain it. Like, just, I lost my temper. I'll put my hands up. I want them to be super emotionally intelligent. So that's the work I'm doing. So I want them to pass that on.
Yeah, right.
So I'll say sorry. Yeah. And I'll feel shit sometimes walking away. Like, oh, you idiot. You probably shouldn't have. They're just little boys. But because I want them to be like great men. So I'm like, I'm going to say sorry at this because I want them to be like, I've mucked up and I'm going to say sorry. I don't want them to carry that on because I remember when my mum would blame me for shit. She never went mad like Tom Moutchi's dad, but she could just blame me and it wasn't me. And it's just like, yeah, I would like when she found out that it was my brother, usually it was him, that she said sorry to me and she never did. It was kind of like, it's both of you because you're his little sister. That's not fair.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think what I do with my daughter is like I do explain things. So I'm joking when I say I don't like apologize, whatever. I do like we'll have like deep conversations and I'll explain things to her, Rob, because she wants to know reasons why. It's not just because I said so.
Yeah.
She, I have to explain things. We have to have a conversation. So that's stuff that I probably didn't get growing up. But that's fair because if you look at like where our elders came from, they didn't get that either. So I kind of understand where they come from. Like my mum now in her older age.
I don't know.
Do you not think so?
It's
no,
about
do you
being...
know what? I was thinking about this, but I was listening to this podcast. What was it called? I can't remember. But anyway, and they were talking about bad parents. I think it was Call Me Daddy, strangely. But yeah, it was just...
What type of podcast are you listening to?
No, Call Me Daddy is a big podcast. It's a big podcast.
It is.
Yeah.
But she was talking to this
Isn't it
woman...
Call Her Daddy? Is it Call Her Daddy?
Call Her Daddy, that's it. Sorry.
I don't listen to it.
Where was your head?
I don't.
But anyway,
I don't have time.
Insight into Auntie Sade's mind.
Moving on. She was talking to this therapist who basically had written this book about bad parents and toxic parents.
Oh yes, I know the book you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? So like we're almost taught that they don't know any better or because of their circumstances
Excuses.
and the reason and the thing, and it's just like, no, you do. You just
I think some of them
to.
don't, I think some of them don't.
But I really want to just, I don't know how much time we got, but I really want to kind of, I really want to kind of lead on Nana's point. It's about being the example.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunately the circumstance that our parents didn't have, specifically from an African point of view, is that my dad would always say to me, do you think I could talk to my dad like this?
I say that.
Listen,
I say that to my kids now.
Right? So that means they made a leap.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like that's what I think is super powerful. They made a leap, so now it's for us to make that other leap.
Yeah.
So, sweetheart, you have to learn how to do the this turn. Yeah. Sorry. S-O.
I'm already adapted. I'm good.
On that
cool.
note, we do have to wrap up. But I want a quick show of hands. Apologise to your kids or not apologise to your kids. Apologise to your kids.
Oh, you're a good parent.
Well done.
You're good
Be the
people.
example.
You're good.
Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself.
Liars.
We've got to move on. Chophouse, guys. Thank you. Where can people find you and listen to you?
You can find us on YouTube, Meant to Excel Digital. We are there. Follow us on Instagram, Chophouse Pod. And yeah, man, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Mikey and me.
Thank you.
Louder, louder, louder. Thanks, guys.